The company's continuing relationship with a former employee who had been terminated because of integrity concerns was obviously a serious compliance blind spot. This was a disturbing discovery for me because it revealed that even several years into the company's rebuilding process, they were effectively continuing to outsource their corruption problem. 2 floors up. It was an important lesson for everyone working on this case. We had dealt with the immediate crisis. We had remediated the issues at hand and had completed a good deal of rebuilding work, including the establishment of an anti-corruption program. What we realized with the new revelation was that remediation and rebuilding are not enough. You need to go deeper. You need to address the business model as well as the challenging people issues to ensure that your compliance program actually works as designed. The company needs to fundamentally change. For the next 3 years, we continued to work with that global manufacturer. We worked with them on transforming their culture and refocusing their business strategy. This was not an easy or quick process, and there were many other bumps on the road. But if a company's leaders are dedicated to the process and are prepared to make sweeping and fundamental changes, a new culture can take hold. Fortunately, over time, the company's leadership largely came to agree with this approach. There was a group of influential executives, an old-school brotherhood of sorts, that had experienced how the organization was successful in the past and wanted to return to such a structure. They accepted that changes were necessary, but perhaps considered it unwarranted and risky to institute wholesale change in the organization. The CEO and CFO had to hold firm on the direction of the new strategy and pillars of the culture, with the support of their board. It was during those frustrating days with that client, when it sometimes seemed as if we were taking 1 step forward and then 2 steps back, that the seeds of the 7 steps of the empowering integrity process were first planted. Willful blindness and its remedy. A corporate scandal is like a sinkhole in a city street. It does tremendous damage. It takes a lot of people by surprise, and it seems to come out of nowhere. But in both cases, the disastrous moment is not nearly as sudden or accidental as it seems. It was inevitable based on conditions that existed just beneath the surface. The foundation was broken, and the disaster was only waiting to happen. And just as the problems go deep, so too must the solutions. Fixing the surface is not enough to prevent a recurrence. It's also safe to say that it was possible to know that the sinkhole was coming. Somebody knew there was an accident waiting to happen. In business, a common mistake that leaders make, one that so often sets the stage for crisis, is willful blindness. Sometimes this leads to outsourcing the misconduct, which is what the company I described a moment ago effectively accomplished by repurposing a fired employee as a business partner. Companies will turn a blind eye to unethical conduct of their partners by imagining they can hide behind a corporate veil. The thinking is that as long as the misbehavior happens outside the walls of the company itself, by an agent, consultant, supplier, or distributor, the management of the company will be safe. This is incorrect thinking. International laws prohibiting corrupt corporate conduct, such as kickbacks to government officials, apply even when the activities are done through third parties. Even if there is a long and diffuse chain of suppliers and the criminal conduct is 5 layers removed, it does not absolve the leaders of the company. After all, when a scandal hits, they will bear the brunt of the reputational fallout. Absolving responsibility and outsourcing the corruption is just one form of willful blindness. There are many types of less obvious misconduct and misdeeds that leaders often train themselves not to see, open secrets that everyone seems to know about but them. The author, Margaret Heffernan, has done interesting work on willful blindness and those who try to rise above it. In a March 2013 TED Talk, she described studies in which employees of companies and institutions were asked if there were issues at work that people were afraid to raise. In different studies done in the U.S. and in Europe, the number was always about the same, a staggering 85%. As Heffernan says, 85% That's a lot of silence. It's a lot of blindness.